Well, not only do I do songwriting and performing, but I love to equip others. And so one of the other things that I do is I spend a lot of time working with local churches, and I travel around and I work with music teams and creative arts teams and develop their skills and their talents, and particularly work as a consultant with senior ministers in developing their creative arts ministry, and I love doing that.
We'll talk about that early. Does that mean it's time to roll?
I haven't always been, I guess, in the church, but I grew up in a church family, I guess, as a good way of explaining my upbringing. I went to Sunday school. Mum used to be in the church choir, but I started to be involved with some Christians who actually live just a couple of doors down from me, and I just let me hang out at their house, and I became involved in youth group, and that's really was quite significant in me deciding to follow Jesus in about year 10. For me, the connection between faith and music, it's quite a complex one. I think that the way I've grown up, I'm very wired in that way. I think I'm wired to express myself musically. For some people it's dance, for some people it's drawing, for some people it's silence. But for me it's definitely musical, and that can be sitting down and playing a piece and actually praying while I'm playing it, not actually uttering any words, but very prayerfully playing that and meditating on scripture while I do it. Or it can actually be writing a song that expresses my love for God or expresses almost a prayer about a situation. So for me, it's quite a beautiful, complex reality. And I think for me too, it's been a really growth of maturity to also express my faith without music. So to be able to express it in different ways in servanthood. And I think when I was younger, often you'd go to a church, and if the music wasn't right, but as you're growing older, I've and more mature in the faith, is that the be all or end all to your faith? Do you need music to actually express your faith, or can you express it and connect to God and encounter God in other ways? And I think that's been a real step of maturity as I've been growing up. I think there's something about music that crosses boundaries that is quite incredible. I think there's ways that music can move the heart that sometimes nothing else seems to be able to. The Spirit of God seems to work through that. Singing gives the soul a voice. And I think it's a beautiful phrase, because there's something that happens when we sing. And even if you're just watching people sing at an international rugby game or something like that, there's something that happens that moves people, that crosses boundaries. Simple Life was the title track of my last album, before the one that was released this year. And Simple Life is a journal of songs through a really challenging time. And Simple Life is about getting your priorities right. Simple Life was really a prayer of my husband and mine to just start thinking through, what really matters. What really matters. And I think we've got 3 kids, and we're in that job zone, and you're busy, and life is hectic and crazy at times. And it's so easy to get so caught up that we forget or just don't have time for people and for God. And I think it was a bit of we need to just take stock again and reevaluate what really matters, love, faith and hope in God, and are those things embedded in our family, in us every day. So that's what that song's about. It's a real special song. I really love that song.